This is extremely dangerous to our democracy.
Hey everyone, Dave here, December 1773. With me as always is Ryan. This is episode 41 of the weekly show, all the week's hottest topics with a twist. As always, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel to get more of this weekly show. Every week, Mondays at 7 p.m. Eastern.
In the Northeast.
I'm ready to get into this thing.
Yeah, started a little late here, so bear with me. You guys don't know that because we don't record live. We just film live and then release it live.
You get it at 7 p.m. regardless. Sometimes we film it early, sometimes on a Saturday, sometimes Sunday, sometimes late.
Ooh, like today.
Headlines! File this under things that anyone could have seen coming. I feel like people are knocking.
As a knock happened? Is that the ghost?
I think it's a raid.
Oh, this would be perfect for the podcast. Just
NYPD NYPD officers leaving in droves. 75% increase in quitting or retirement in 2020.
Yeah, sounds normal.
What do you think leads to that? Do you think it's I don't know, the fact that they can't do their job?
I'm sure it's most racist.
Is it because they were threatened to be defunded? Is it because anytime they do anything that encompasses their job duties, they're called racist?
I'm sure all those cops are just systematically racist, so they're leaving because they know that they were part of the problem. So,
what are the odds that every single police officer would literally be racist?
100%. All right. I'll stop with hyperbole here. Yeah, I don't know. You know, this was happening all summer with the BLM riots, whether it be from like mishandling of police shootings or whatever. Yeah, this has been expected. I don't think I've specifically said it here on the podcast, but I know that we've covered this. So, cause and effect, sure. Blue Lives Matter.
I think a lot of it has to do with the fact that I don't know. You look at just the general thoughts towards police now. How it's. I would say most of America is probably still pretty reasonable, but the stuff that's publicized and put out to you through the media, I don't know. I wouldn't want to be a police officer either. Give me that early retirement.
No, I heard one thing. We've worked with people. You and I personally, Dave, have worked with people that family are cops and yada yada. And they've said that they don't go to places that don't prepare like food in front of them. So it would be like a Subway. They won't go through McDonald's or Burger King or anything like that because they don't make the food. They can't see it, so they're choosing those options that are more like Chipotle and because they got to worry about being in uniform and getting food and.
Yeah, it's kind of a shame.
So yeah, it's one of those things of I actually just was talking with family about like the lengths that some of these public servants have to go through and the things they sacrifice, and they don't really make a lot of money considering how much they actually do when they're doing stuff, but that varies on the state. But my point is these state workers, it's a public service, and we're gonna miss them when the good people leave and they're filled with super bad people. You think you have problems with police now, and police are have been a system, and there's been real no change, we'll say, since 9/11 or the Rodney King incident or instances like that, the LA riots and other things that have happened. There hasn't been mass police change since then. There's just been more laws for citizens. So it's just strengthened cops. But with that being said, with that system, this is what you've gotten, right? This is the level of corruption, and you say this is unsustainable and not acceptable. Well, I'm sure out of a lot of those people that were leaving, there's got to be some good cops, some really good cops, some super good cops. There's a very degree of different skill sets that are leaving that field, and that's a tragedy for every community. It's pretty crazy.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. It's to be expected. I mean, this is causation, correlation, whatever.
This kind of leads us to the next one here. Headlines. Tulsi Gabbard issues a plea to Americans to reject, quote, racialization of everyone and everything We are all
Wow.
children of God.
Wow.
Yes, that was Tulsi Gabbard, the Democrat.
Sounds awfully conservative by today's standards.
Yeah, and doesn't that just point to the fact that everyone has moved so far to the left that somebody like Tulsi Gabbard she got pushed out of the Democratic Party?
Yeah, not by like actually any merit, just by I believe I said it was last week or the week before about how segregation's not it's not enforced by law anymore. It's enforced by like social. So
I swear, Teddy, get out of here. I'm getting raided.
like these things are enforced by social currency. They're not enforced by law anymore. And this is a prime example that like politics is now even you're socially this and socially that. Yeah, it is crazy that Tulsi Gabbard is like a reasonable. She would be called like moderate or something.
She's a true moderate. I mean, she's not like the Joe Biden moderate. She's an actual moderate person. She's pretty straight down the center. And there's things she says I disagree with. Sure. But she's
because she's a woman and she's a person of whatever identification that's special to her. So I got asked the other day. I had to go for COVID test, but I got asked like, "What's your ethnicity?" I was like, "Is that important?" They're like, "Not really." It's like, "Well, why the fuck do you ask it?" Carry on. I guess that's my white privilege. My white terrorism it's white terrorism now, as far as Joe Biden's concerned.
We had a headline recently about, I think it was Senator Rick Scott, who said that we need to fight woke corporate America. Jesus Christ! What the fuck, you psycho?
How long do you think she said there?
She's just staring me down. Just daggers.
Bro, she's gonna kill you.
She probably is.
She'll
probably get it over with. She's probably gonna kill me. I said, I wish you would just get it over with.
A pretty hefty life insurance policy, and she'll like get you, and she'll be dressed up as one of her.
She doesn't know the true heftiness of the life insurance policy.
Yo, way to keep on your side of the fence, man.
So when you fall down the stairs.
We don't even have stairs.
Just to be clear, this is all recorded. If I do fall down the stairs, this is not going to go well.
If you do, they're going to be like, "Oh wow, your basement stairs are jacked, man."
Yeah, you'll get an insurance policy check.
Anyway, this falls in that same line here. Pub owner who banned NBA games until LeBron James is, quote, expelled says business is booming.
I saw a hilarious GoFundMe page that they wanted to get LeBron a helicopter. So, not saying they were insinuating. Brian, but
took me a second. That's a little dark.
Hey, at least the day that the Jews were liberated from concentration camps, it will always be remembered as the day Kobe Bryant died. So I'm glad that we got our history straight. Keep it going. I'm proud of America. Sad for my country.
I know you saw this and you wanted to get into this. Headlines. A historic life-saving step. The FDA moves to ban menthol cigarettes and flavored cigars. The regulatory agency did stop short, however, of including menthol-flavored e-cigarettes. Isn't this just expanding the drug war?
It's expanding black market. All right, we personally live, I don't know about you, David, but there's reservations by where I live that are relatively a short distance. I'm going to wager that the Native Americans don't give one fuck about what the FDA says. So I can see in the very near future here that a couple bodegas around all over municipalities all over the greater Buffalo area are going to have menthol and flavored cigarettes and tobacco. So I don't know if you had friends that smoked, but all my friends started smoking before we were old enough to buy cigarettes. So this is the boys will be boys thing. Yeah, this is like just, I mean, really, what are we coming to? What was the Eric Gardner? I don't want to forget. Say his name. His name.
He was the one in New York City who was
selling loose cigarettes, and they choked him. This actually kind of started the whole choking conversation, I believe, about police tactics in particular. And it was in the good old state of New York City, selling loosies. They were probably Newports. Given mostly black people smoke Newports. Hey, these are the FDA statistics. It's so crazy that you're.
These are the FDA statistics.
Yeah, they said 85%. The reason they're targeting menthol cigarettes is because apparently those companies target African Americans with menthols. They say that they target African Americans, and this is basically fighting racism. This is what the FDA said, not me.
Hold on,
I can't go outside without a fucking mask, and these pricks are gonna ban certain types of cigarettes. All of them are bad for you. What the fuck are we talking about? I thought we talk about all these lives mattering, and we always.
I do think it's interesting that they're excluding just regular cigarettes.
Yeah, it's literally. Remember in school, there's 10,000 chemicals in there that give you cancer. So why are you banning the only ones that are flavored? We don't ban flavored alcohol. Not like that's any better, or I'm holding one sin accountable to the other sin. But we have a lot of fucking double standards here in society, and we're just like are accepting them. And right now, it's a big fucking deal because we're trying to create something new to help people. The government does not give a fuck about your health. If they did, they would get the poison out of baby food. I mean, like come on. We covered on this podcast. 90% of the food has baby food has some kind of arsenic in there. That's good. That's good for my kid. Thanks, FDA. Glad you give a they don't care about you, and I'm supposed to believe that they're doing it in the terms of racism. All this is doing is paving the way for the government intervention of food and water that you're allowed to put in your body. And sooner or later, you're going to be missing products. There's going to be maybe Lucky Charms will be racist because he's not black enough. I don't know.
Well, the good news is during Biden's speech there, he did say they were going to do some rebuilding of the water supply, so that could be good, to get the poison out of the water at least.
Is it the chemicals that turn the frogs gay?
No, that'll still be in there. So I think
it's so crazy. Like everything will literally just be racism from here on out. This is going to be so ludicrous, and they're going to justify this piece of shit wants to spend more money than all the millionaires in the country. It's just go ahead. I'm sorry. They're going to use everything. Everything's racist.
They've been doing it for years. So.
Yeah, but they're going to have like social currency to do it because people put stock in it now. Like brown people have suffered at the hands of white guys. So we're gonna just blindly walk off a financial fucking avenue and cliff and government corruption and size.
Well, it's at some point all this fake racism is gonna fall on deaf ears, and unfortunately, the result of that is gonna be actual racism will be ignored. Because if you call everything racist, then eventually, even actual racism is just gonna be like, well, yeah, whatever. You said everything was racist, so why do I believe you now?
Yeah, you're right. Jussie Smollett, he was so ahead of his time.
Yeah. I think you said last week on the podcast, you had talked about, I still don't know how to say it. Is it Ghislaine?
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 I don't know.
Okay.
Jizz in lanes. I don't care. This pedophile fucking helping fucking scumbag.
Headlines. Ghislaine Maxwell has unexplained black eye in her first
Unexplained! Unexplained. Yeah. They insult your fucking intelligence, man. This is like a full-out newspeak propaganda, Winston-powered television hate hour. This is right out of 1984, bro. She got a magical black eye. I'm not even saying like a guard did it or the Illuminati was involved, but I'm sure somebody there beat her ass after she pled not guilty to sex trafficking of young girls. I'm sure somebody in jail didn't like that. No, you lying bitch. Caught her in the showers or something happened. People are looking the other way. Maybe that's why they let Epstein die, because he knew too much. What do I know?
Yeah, I don't know. It's pretty wild. It's about right about there. Pretty dark too. Whatever it was, she got rocked.
There's doorknobs in jail, so that explains it. Fell into it.
She fell down the stairs. And yeah, so I thought this was interesting, and then I know you wanted to get into the Rogan stuff and wealth in this country, but I thought this was super interesting. Did you happen to? I'll be honest, I don't watch Saturday Night Live at all.
No, I don't.
Did you watch?
No,
I didn't either.
I just honestly, I was waiting for. I just know about it. I was waiting for the pod to talk about it. Actually,
But I did think this was interesting. Headlines. The SNL cast won't be forced to appear with Elon Musk.
We're making
Elon Musk. Let's be clear. There is no middle ground here. There's no middle ground to be had. If Elon Musk is offensive to you, there's certainly no middle ground for me here for you. Elon Musk is not a far right guy.
Yeah, these people are not here to compromise. They're here to dominate, and it's been prevalent. Like you said, Joe Biden ran as, a moderate even, and we're seeing his State of the Union, which we'll get to. But, yeah, man,
I mean, if
they're not even trying. This just proves, and I said, like I told you guys in the chat, I find it amazing that the very group of individuals that make all of this money to get up there every weekend and bash everybody in public life and politicians and celebrities and Kanye West and Donald Trump and all these people, they can drag their name in the mud or prop them up and have social currency and all these other things. And then when somebody's on that, they may not necessarily align with the beliefs or want to have it proves that they already have nefarious means. If they can't sit down or if they can't be with the same guy, you'd think you'd have more fun making fun of somebody you don't like, But this is just like their fake virtue signaling. This is their fake currency. When people are buying into it, it is funny that they make fun of all these people, but they can't sit in the room with somebody that they dislike.
Which I still.
But they want to be liked. They want to be liked. They want to make all the money. They want the spotlights on them. Like, how narcissistic is this? Like, what are we doing?
I just can't believe that we're at a point right now where the creator of an electric car company is hated by the left.
Yeah, he wants to build Mars to save all species.
This guy's all about alternative energy, and he's building electric cars, and he wants to go fly out to Mars, and he's doing all types of crazy stuff that you think the pro science left would be a huge fan of, but it's amazing that they don't like him. It's probably because he's African American.
Yeah, it's because he's South African. It's systemically racist too that he moved here as a very young man, made millions.
I don't understand. I mean, the left they don't like a pro science guy like Elon Musk.
Yeah, and they don't pro science guy like Joe Rogan, and he caught a lot of slack this week. This is one of the topics. Dave and I don't normally discuss things beforehand, but this was something I want to talk about. Now, it was rather quick, right? It was just. I watched all the videos. I've told everybody publicly, my Joe Rogan stance and stuff, and I just wanted to, I wanted to defend him to some degree, but, yeah, I mean, the White House tried to cancel Joe Rogan, basically, they tried to come out and attack Joe Rogan, and, he had to issue a rebuttal, but it was about vaccines, and what he basically said was, if you're young and healthy, I don't think you necessarily need the vaccine.
Now, let's be clear. This was based on science and data.
And also just conversation, right? This isn't, once again, Joe Rogan has said it. I know it's his cop-out and his plight and his way, and I agree that people need, this is I would love to go on there and actually try to hold him accountable for some of the things he says. Not that I'm this virtuous person, but people do need to press him. He does have, a massive influence. Incredibly massive, and he doesn't know. Just like Alex Jones didn't know necessarily, Rogan necessarily doesn't know. He has a finger on the pulse, but dude, I'm telling you, it really does send ripples in. But first of all, Joe Rogan, if we just look at him, the White House said that he's not a doctor, and basically he shouldn't be giving advice. And Rogan has said he's a moron. Rogan has said, don't come to me, don't, if you're looking for health advice and other things. But this is where it gets dicey, because Joe Rogan does have a long history of nutritional fact. Joe Rogan literally has fought and performed martial arts at high levels and, interviewed athletes and is friends with athletes. And he runs a company called On It. And On It has, if you can go on there right now, there's thousands of articles that have been written by doctors and publications and studies and all these research and information about health, nutrition, and approach to physique and working. Joe Rogan, if anybody is going to talk about healthy humans, I think Joe Rogan, he's not a doctor, but he's the next best fucking thing you got. If you're going to run into a guy at the bar and talk nutrition, Joe Rogan's the guy you need. You know, like he's like the Guy Fieri of nutrition. The Guy Fieri is like the testosterone. He's like the Orange County Chopper. You know what I mean? Like that kind of guy, like a dude that is like almost, you know, like a doctor. So I don't necessarily believe the White House has any say either, because our government does not have the highest level of credibility either. You know, it's kind of the kettle calling the pot black, and it's also showing how scared they are of independent media, which they're not going to tell you this. And I listened to, I'll touch on that, but I think we should get to the State of the Union, I think, here. Because I listened to Ben Shapiro's breakdown. I did not watch all of the State of the Union. I watched pretty much clips, right? And I've heard excerpts throughout the week, and I've read some stuff. And it was funny to me because I listened to Ben Shapiro's reaction, because I want to know. I use him as the metric of conservatives out there. You know, now that Rush Limbaugh's dead, in particular, we got to start looking to the newer pastures as far as like beacons of truth and people with credibility. And Ben Shapiro does that, and I think he holds more credibility than Crowder in some ways, just because he's more serious. So I looked at Shapiro, and Shapiro's talking about how the media and all this stuff, and just the way he was phrasing it, he was talking about how Biden is creating everything to be white supremacy and white terrorism, and also that the government, instead of we the people is we the government. So like Shapiro was like talking, and the way he described it, it sounded like he was a conspiracy theorist. So I'm not saying Shapiro's wrong. It's just funny to me that the way he was talking about it, he's like, he just needs a reason for the government to get involved. He's creating a crisis so that the government can react, right? Like Joe Biden's making up gun violence is a crisis. This is a crisis. This is white supremacy, white terrorism. You know, like he's creating these hashtags, and then like this ability to use government enforcement because they're going to, quote, stop segregation and racism. You know, the FDA and the menthol cigarettes, prime example. They're going to use that train of thinking with all levels of society, basically, so that they have a reason to have the government overreach. Now, I'm not saying Ben Shapiro's wrong, but he would be a conspiracy theorist a couple of years ago. I just think it's amazing how far independent media has moved the needle. Like nobody trusts the government, man. I think no serious critical thinking person can literally trust our government.
I think part of it comes from his. So the weird thing is, like, depending on who says that too, can come off as a conspiracy. You know, two different people can say the same thing, and it might be taken as a conspiracy if one person says it, but not if the other. And I think it has to do with their, you know, long-standing credibility as who they are. But it's kind of interesting, like that point you just made. Like, if Alex Jones were to say that, it would be a conspiracy.
He did, though. It's not if, he did. I listened to Alex for like years. The level of shit that I heard Alex Jones say, dude, some of it came true. Like I can't even list the things, but the things I've looked up, some of it was true, dude. Or there was a grain in that conspiracy.
Yeah, but they were all conspiracies.
They were all conspiracies. Pedophile Island, you know? Media, the mainstream media, like just the idea of calling it the mainstream media, that it's this, they all have agenda. The news having an agenda, the average American believes that now. When I got politically active, you told people that the news was lying to you, you'd be like, nah, they didn't comprehend it. But now, because we're so screen oriented and we're so individually getting our information from one source, you know, like Facebook or these news apps, and they're all personalized because we're all consuming the same thing. You know, like we just have illusion of choice. And now people, they're like, yeah, you know, I don't trust the government. The media is poison. You know, like, and we see where the people split and die on these narratives. It's crazy. This was all conspiracy. This was all conspiracy, like very short time ago. Literally, with the Trump presidency, pulled the veil behind the curtain of mainstream media. It showed their smokescreen. You know, the grabber by the P word. That was really, I mean, I told people for years about your Fourth Amendment and how you shouldn't let the government spy on you because they'll blackmail politicians. And then here they are, literally blackmailing a guy trying to run for president with it. Whether or not it was right or wrong, it doesn't matter. They knew that video existed. The whole time. They didn't care. They didn't care about Harvey Weinstein. They didn't care about Bill Cosby. They didn't care about Jeffrey Epstein until it was going to destroy them. Until it was something they were scared of. Until it was something they didn't have control over. Just like the mainstream media. Just like Ben Shapiro's talking about. The government crafting crises so that they can act as the savior when they create this problem. Joe Biden's talking about getting the economy back on track after a world halting recession, and like the economy's firing back up. It's like, do you realize we had record breaking economy numbers before you shut everything off? Like, I've talked on this program before, just because the stock's low doesn't mean the value of that company is lower. It's still worth $50 a share. It's just selling at 10. That's how the Dow works for our country. Like, America didn't lose $50 trillion in wealth overnight. It just did it on paper. Like, it's
well, and we both know this.
You need government. You're all the places with all the population, California, and the Northeast up here with New York, and all the places with all the population in these big powerhouse states. New York has like huge GDP as some of these other like we have states with GDPs larger than countries. And the states with larger GDPs are shut down, and you're talking about we need money for an economy, like an economic recovery. It's like you've literally stifled the economy. Whether willingly or not, it doesn't even matter, because it seems like it's willingly. Because once again, I can't trust anything you're saying.
Yeah, and we say it all the time. These people know exactly what they're doing.
They know exactly.
It's almost a catchphrase on the show now.
They know exactly.
You know, yes, do they not understand? And then the answer is inevitably yes, they do understand that when they shut the economy down, they knew what was coming. But it was convenient for them, and now it's convenient for them to try and get it going again. The ironic thing is they won't be able to, because their policies inherently don't stimulate economies. Now, the interesting thing is the standard, right? This is what I find interesting about this. Joe Biden's standard isn't to get back to Trump's economy. It's to make it better than it is now. So the bar is incredibly low for Joe Biden.
Yeah, all he has to do is just, like, I don't know, not shut everything down.
That's exactly right. All they have to do is open the things back up, which they're going to do because...
And they can do it strategically with government funding or regulation, so they can pick and choose winners. The very people that say that modern capitalism, literally crush competition, they're using government means to do the exact same thing. They're picking and choosing winners. They're allowing they're not allowing freedom. They're not allowing like the actual word of mouth, organic growth of markets. They're not allowing any of that. This is basically the government's algorithm, like to censor you, just with a business.
It's interesting that they wouldn't want success. You know what I mean? It's interesting that they don't want wealthy people to be wealthier.
Can I tell you why I think that is, David? Because I'm glad that we're kind of putting this all together. Okay. I've seen plenty of things now. We've heard about it for years, about the wealthy paying more. And I always get up here and I try to like stand on the idea of principle. That like, it's basically the idea that if they'll steal from a wealthy man, they'll steal from a poor man. You know, when it's all said and done. These people, they don't love the poor, they hate the rich. And they're far different things. This has been said by many people, far better people. You can listen to plenty of economists. You can read plenty of books. And you can look into plenty of the things. My point. The reason they don't want a Jeff Bezos, okay, the reason that they don't want a guy, I'll use Donald Trump because he was president, but the reason they don't want these powerful individuals is because it challenges the global world. A guy like Jeff Bezos is worth a fuck ton of money, okay? He's a self-made man. He did not rob, cheat, or steal to make his money. As far as I know, Jeff Bezos has used every means within the law to get where he is. As far as I know. I think with as big as Amazon is, somebody would have probably had a good enough case to shut them down if it was illegal or illicit. He didn't steal, rob, or murder anybody to have what he has. Okay. He's the richest guy in our economy. Right? Now, his wealth is in the billions. Okay? But Amazon is worth $1 trillion. Okay? Meaning that for as rich as Jeff Bezos is, and this is also net worth, this isn't actually like he has $500 billion in his bank account.
Right.
He just has $500 billion worth of houses, of cars, of assets, of 401ks, of cryptocurrency, of Teslas, of whatever the fuck this guy buys to keep his wealth. Okay, so now that we established that, these guys are battling against princes and kings and literally monarchs. Okay, these, like a guy like Vladimir Putin, you can go on YouTube and look up all these numbers yourself, because I can sit here and read statistics and nobody gives a fuck about them, because everything is a subjective fact now. So go on YouTube and look up who's the richest people in the world. The only people you're going to find on Forbes are people that are open about their wealth. A guy like Jeff Bezos, who has to document every cent that he spends, because if not, the FDA, the IRS will come and shut him down and steal all his money and say it's because he's an evil businessman. When in reality, every prince, every royalty, Vladimir Putin, for example, Xi in China, these people are worth trillions of dollars. It's not an exaggeration, because the princes, especially of the Middle East, they own the assets of that country when they're royalty. So those extreme buildings, those beautiful sites that all these people go and flock to in all these other countries with royalty in particular, which would be like the old Ottoman Empire and stuff, and like, you know, like the Middle East, like the Near East. All that shit's royalty, you know, and they own those assets. So Jeff Bezos, when he's worth billions and everything, right? Like, this guy literally is fighting against trillionaires. Can you? And they're not going to tell you this on TV because they don't want you to be critically involved in thinking about it. But they're telling you to tax the very people that are I mean, I don't want to say it this way, but it's like Jeff Bezos' patriotic duty is to keep Amazon as successful as it can be and in America for as long as possible, so that he can fight off foreign companies, so that he can fight off foreign billionaires. Because I'll tell you right now, I would rather be ruled by the billionaires in my own country than be ruled by billionaires and trillionaires and princes and royalty from other countries, because they can have a level of corruption that is unobtainable to the average person. Can you imagine? Remember when people were dogging on Trump for going to touch that big ball of light in Saudi Arabia?
Yeah.
It looked like a scene out of fucking Lord of the Rings. I mean, people were like, oh, he's going royalty. That guy is worth more than Trump. That guy's worth more than Trump. But what was that guy doing to Trump? Sitting at a table with him, talking with him, be like, let's figure this out, because of the power these people have in America. The power the average person has. It's unmatchable. Once again, civil liberties are unquantifiable. We can't put a dollar value. We can't put a quality to them. I could sit here all day and try to describe to you, and it's still not good enough. But my point is, these guys get respect because they build businesses that change the fucking globe. How jealous do you think that prince in fucking the royalties are that Jeff Bezos is worth $500 billion and all he did was start by selling books out of his garage? The guy worked at McDonald's. These guys had to be born in a line of princes and conquerors and kings and murderers and rapists and all these things you hate about the world. These guys, they're direct products of it. Jeff Bezos had an idea. This is why we should promote wealth in our country. This is why it's important that we don't tax the rich. The rich in New York State pay for the 1% of wealth in New York State pays 49% of the income tax. How is that their fair share? We hold values in these numbers, but we're not able to put quality to them. What? Yeah, they'll work. Tax write-off. $120 boots. You know what? I get them for free because of my piece of shit rich corporation. I can have better boots because of a corporation. The rich. Those rich bastards. I don't have $120 for boots, but you know what? I bought them because they'll reimburse me. This is what I'm talking about. Something so stupid as fucking boots. We get tax exemptions and tax write-offs. It's like a refund on wealth and investment. Like that's the principle. They don't get that in those countries. Instead, one guy owns everything. They have all the wealth. They own every camel. They own all the cats. They own all the doors. They own all the locks. They own all the plates. Like that little shit. They own that because they're the prince of fucking Saudi Arabia.
It's interesting that you bring up investment too, because that was one thing in the State of the Union that I thought was interesting. Talking about raising the capital gains rate from, well, basically doubling it. Let's call it what it is, going from 20 to 40%. And to me, that is, and it's hard to pick one single policy that I think is most damaging to the economy or to countries. But I think that's the one. I mean,
dude, if they can steal your wealth, they can do anything. You can have all the civil liberties in the world, but if you don't have wealth for bread, what does a gun matter to people? This is what I mean. I tell you, people, you got to figure out who's selling you out for a loaf of bread. Because that's what's going to... All these people that are patriots and all these other things, they say they're going to fight for all these... What are the 3 things you'll die for? And then what is the one thing that you'll die for over the other 2? That's what we're talking about, man. Civil liberties are like worth everybody's death. They really are. They really are, man. You don't get them back. And the government, their solution is to increase government spending and government size to fix the economy. And their way of paying for it is to take from the wealthiest of the wealthiest, the people that can afford all the extra shit, building a new building, paying you a higher salary, hiring more employees, investing in something while there's downtime in a bull market or whatever the fuck it is, so that they can make their money back by next year to open more businesses, so that they can liquidate yeah, sure, they're gonna buy a jet every once in a while, sure, but you know what? I'd rather have my CEO of my job buying himself a fucking Corvette every year instead of being owned by a prince, by royalty. This is the trade-off for freedom.
And we're talking ultra wealthy too. I mean, people who are buying jets and everything.
Yeah, all of it. You want that guy to be rich in America, man. You don't want him to move to other places. He'll gladly go move to those other places. They can afford to move to New Zealand. And once again, they'll keep their residency somewhere and just buy a house there. And they can stay there 7 months out of the year in the best weather and the best time and the cheapest this. And they have all this stuff figured out because they can afford it. And then you're telling me those people are just going to willingly stay there and keep paying more and more money? My family's talking about how groceries are getting expensive. That's us, peasants, to these people. The 1% of wealth is only like $200,000 a year income, take home, gross rather. That's not a lot of money. Jeff Bezos makes he's worth $500 million, or $500 billion rather.
I don't know his exact worth.
Yeah, it's up there. It's like 400, 500 billion, you know, whatever.
Is it that
my
much?
point, yeah, he's that worth that much. You know, like, it's my point. Like, that's the guy that everybody envisions when you say the 1%, but it's literally your guy. The guy that owns your local pizzeria could make $100,000 a year selling fucking pizza. It's completely possible. I know it happens locally here in Buffalo. I know it does. And those are the places. Listen, if that's all you want to do is make pizza your whole life, fine. But get in that pizzeria that the owner makes all the money. That's like where you're going to make $20 making the pizza, but it better be the best fucking pizza ever. That's why the pizza makes $100,000 a year. Like, it's all those layers to success. Like, dude, it's the quality. We're so focused on the quantity. This is why democracy will not work. I mean, I know I'm going all over the place, but it really is. I mean, they wrote the book, The Wealth of Nations, you know? Like, they talked about this. I have not read the book, but I will tell you that the way to steal your freedom, the way to steal your future is to steal your wealth. Yeah. They take hope. If they take hope and they take wealth, you'll sell your civil liberties. You'll sell your parents. You'll sell your kids for survival. Some people will. They'll sell their whole family out for a loaf of bread. Somebody will. And that happened for thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of years until we developed the Magna Carta, the Constitution, the Declaration of Independence, and we rebelled as white fucking colonialists, these pieces of shit. I'm so tired. What they're doing is just they're greasing the skids for the war, man. I mean, we're in it. We're in the info war. We're in this space, but I will tell you, man. They got all the hashtags lined up to destroy any kind of pro-patriot or pro-American. I heard a good theory this weekend that the reason they stopped teaching Constitution was because the Constitution. The reason they stopped teaching cursive is because they don't want kids to be able to read the Constitution. Constitution's in cursive.
Sure. Yeah, that's an interesting theory.
So all the why wouldn't you? Why wouldn't you? These people don't. Z, once again, back to you want wealthy people here. Xi in China. Globalism is inevitable. It's not coincidence that during an economic downturn and a pandemic of mass proportion, the government is engineering $3 trillion in fucking open. He spent $6 trillion in his first 100 days in office, and he's bragging about it. He spent more money than money that's ever been created. They're printing more money than there's ever been created ever. This is unsustainable. But you can't have that conversation with anybody in Congress because they don't give a fuck. So, like, while this is all going on, I'm just magically going to believe it? There's no way, man. These people are leveraging the power of the global cabal, these global princes, these global communists, these global people. They are, I guarantee you, they want everything.
It's almost like they would be on their bankroll, perhaps.
I mean, what the fuck? When Trump was on his way out, they were talking about how many in nearly every multinational corporation there was a Chinese government communist spy. On every, that's Walmart, that's Amazon, that's Target. I mean, Home Depot, McDonald's, stealing trade secrets. They were in professors' offices in Harvard. Harvard professors were selling secrets to China. Come on. At the same time, the government's going to take all the wealth from the rich. I told you this. Jeff Bezos will move, and then your pizzeria that made $100,000 a year closes. And then we all, sit on the government tit and unemployment, and then taxes go up and more rich people move out? We're going to all be equally poor, eating fucking the same loaf of bread.
Just make taxes zero. Right?
Why don't the rich just pay for everything and have poor people keep all their money?
Why make them pay anything? Just keep printing the money out.
People got that stimulus check the second they got it. They thought they were rich, buying vacations and cars and all sorts of shit you can't afford, blowing it, not saving it, not paying debt, not paying rent, buying fireworks. Literally just printed our money into fucking oblivion, and you're happy about it. And then you get up there in your first 100 days, pound your chest about the government. Come on. And you attack Joe Rogan, a guy with mainstream success, a guy that literally broke out the system, built his own thing, and then he succumbed to Spotify. This was going to happen. Joe Rogan, he came back and he backpedaled. He shouldn't have. I'm not saying he should have fought the White House, but I mean he should have said what I said. Like, look, I fucking run a company of human optimization, like all the things that he's always talked about. He has all these interesting doctors on and all these people with why he talks to astrophysicists for 3 hours. One-on-one discussions. He talks to doctors about nutrition and water and sleep and all these. He doesn't have a say. He has zero say. But we trust fucking Bill Gates. We trust Bill Gates because he talks to all the doctors. Joe Rogan can't because he's a fucking comedian. Come on, people. I'm not even on Joe Rogan's side, but I gotta defend him because I see what they're doing. They're doing the same shit to Alex. He's trying to operate outside the system and play nice and be like, oh, I'm just a dumb comedian. They're going to fucking spear Joe Rogan on a stake. That's why he got out of fucking California. And once again, Dave, like you even said, and Joe knows it, I brought this up. That's why he moved. He knows the policies don't work, even though he wants those policies. He's the 1%, and he moved out of California to not pay that or to have more freedom. Whatever excuse, he's just a dumb comedian, right? A meathead. He was probably just told to move to Texas. I'm sure he talked to 0 people about it and took no information before he just magically moved to a red state for more. It's a joke. I know it's all different. It's all over branching between Biden and wealthy people and Rogan, but they are connected. It is one argument. They're trying to destroy this nation at every level, and they will use the means, and then they will use the government to act as the savior when they destroy it originally.
That's definitely what's happening. It's pretty obvious. I mean,
it's not a debate anymore. I mean, when they printing 50% of the money ever printed in the history of fucking America in 1 year, there's a problem. They know what they're doing. While we're all seeing, like I said, the China thing is the most scary and everything else. While they're talking about UFOs, now they talk about aliens. Now there's the UFO. It's just magically going to happen by June that they're going to have this release because they talked about it last year. Oh, okay, cool. We'll wait till June. And then since June, there's been the monoliths all over the globe. There's been all these magical sightings and leaked information. Come on, man. It's all too coincidental. This seems like a Hollywood movie. I'll level with you. I watched that newly leaked thing that the Pentagon confirms. That could be a video game. You know how good video games are? You know what I'm saying? I just told you. I've been playing older games. Video games have come so fucking far. TV's a movie. They can remove, like, I don't believe the shit you put on TV. I'm not believing your little Dorito Tic Tac thing. And if the government, let's just say we're using the Twitter standard, the government could just say, yeah, this is real thing. The government could have leaked it. The government could have told somebody to leak that. Like, what do I know? They don't have credibility either.
So, even though what's left of our civil liberties are getting attacked, and they're trying to continually raise taxes and take more of our money, and they're inevitably going to continue to tank the economy, and all of this is depressing and sad. Were you December-tained at all?
Yeah, man, I was awesomely December-tained.
We always find a way to be entertained through all of this madness.
Yeah, you want to slit your wrist half the days, but at least I have this cool movie I watched. Actually,
I gotta say, if the founding fathers had as much cool shit as we had, I don't think they would have revolted over the minor tax on tea.
Yeah, no, they wouldn't have, and that's why it's a big deal. And
I think we're all distracted by the cool things we have.
We're distracted, and we also are not the same level of men that we came from, even a few generations ago. You're telling me the generation that founded this country is not, we're harder than those men? Those guys rode across a frozen stream on Christmas to kick your fucking ass. Dude, you can barely go outside without an electric car start. Like, come on. You got Uggs and ear warmers on. Well, I'm getting Uggs next year.
Let's be clear, I don't have Uggs on.
All right, Decembertainment. So I guess I'll get a little personal on the pod. I like to open up to all you 5 watchers at home. I love you all. My daughter and my mother are actually born on the same day. They share the same birthday. So it was their birthday this weekend. So that's why we're filming late today. Like I said, not that it matters to you guys, but Dave was able to sneak me in, and I appreciate it. But yeah, my Decembertainment this weekend, man, was just was family time. But her birthday, man, I want to talk about kids' toys with you. That's my Decembertainment this week. Fucking Legos, man.
Oh, yeah, we got Legos for days.
Oh, bro. She just got, like, this Lego City. Crazy. I bought it. Batman Legos. She loves Batman. Once again, dude, toys have come so far. You know what I mean? Like, I really feel like, I'm noticing it more and more as I age. Like, maybe just, like, maybe your vision's like patina. And, like, maybe you'll always see 1999 or 2009 or... Like, you'll always, like, it's 2021, but you'll always have that feeling, like, man, this reminds me of the 90s. Or, like, dude, like, 90s fashion's coming back. Like, it's very, like, the older I get, and especially when I look at my siblings, it's real easy for me to split myself among them. It's just like, dude, I'm enjoying aging, but, like, I'm really noticing, like, how much complex the world is. In something as simple as Legos. I mean, Legos and video games, like I said last week, just like the basic systems, the way they're building Lego towers, and like it's very well thought out, like the pieces, and like it's just very cool, man. Like being a kid now and the amount of wealth, and it's very cool. I felt very blessed and everything because my daughter's very fortunate. But yeah, my Decembertainment, man, Legos this week. What is Nolan just into gaming, or is he still playing with like action figures and shit?
Yeah, we got Legos and stuff.
Okay.
Of course.
It stops. Like, man, you stop playing with like hand toys and start playing with like all the electronics at some age.
So the thing is, of course, when you get a Lego set, we build the Legos, right? Isn't that what happens?
And then
Inevitably. And then they tear them apart. So when we got Lego sets, like we just got like random assortments of Legos, and then we just kind of made whatever out of them. Now you have these very detailed, like, so let me get into this too. Did you have to use the Lego app?
No.
Okay. So Lego has an app. I know they specifically definitely do this for the Mario Lego sets, where you have to get in and then like it's a 3D thing. It's pull out your tablet and you can like rotate it around and see what pieces go where and swipe to the steps and stuff. Like that is the future of Legos. Is now you're going to be, instead you don't get an instruction thing. It tells you to download this app and you go on the app and it shows you how to build everything and it rotates it around and it's handy and it's kind of cool, but it's just amazing how different it is. Like there wasn't even instructions, let alone an app, when we just got random Legos and built shit out of it. Like it's just crazy how different things are. But yeah, he's definitely
like the Lego sets we grew up with were like aliens, like underwater. You know, they have every imaginable universe of Lego.
I'll say this: the Lego Mario stuff is super cool. He's got a few of those sets. They're really cool.
Dude, what I saw, I know this is not Lego related, but the Switch, they have the Mario Kart things that you buy, like actual Mario Kart, like little toy, and you drive it on your Switch through your house. Like you're really racing in your house like Mario.
Oh, that's pretty wild.
Dude, it's gnarly. You can get like different Mario Karts. So it's like Mario, like an actual, like real Mario Kart remote control car with your Switch. I bought my daughter Pokemon Snap for her birthday, so I don't know if she's played it yet, but she got into Pokemon, man. It's I was talking to my one buddy Anthony. He's always been a Pokemon nerd, so it's kind of weird to like. I stopped playing Pokemon very early. You know, I was like 9 or 10. It came out, and then I stopped playing shortly after. You know, it was just like the fad. But some people stuck around, but now Pokemon's like multi-generational. So like going back once again, things have come so far. I go back, I'm like playing newer Pokemon or seeing the new Pokemon. It's just like flashbacks of my youth and stuff. And I don't know, man. It's grounding for sure.
That's crazy.
Yeah, but I'm just gonna breeze through my my screenshots quick. Make sure I had nothing else left to cover. But the CDC, man, I'm telling you. Oh, here's one thing. Okay, I know we're at the end of December Tainment. I saw a headline article today, the other day, that talked about how climate change has shifted the Earth's axis. So it's like changed the pitch of the Earth and stuff.
Okay, now, can we be logical thinkers about this?
How the fuck do we know that? How can we prove that unequivocally? Told to trust the science. They said, Dave, it was invisible. So how the fuck do you know it did it? But it's invisible. What if the Earth's axis causes climate change? What if the other one?
I was going to say, let's be logical thinkers about this. Isn't it more likely that the shifting of the Earth, or the way it rotates, or the way it orbits, or the way it sits on an axis, isn't it more likely that causes the climate to be different?
I don't know. We just have fucking tsunamis and earthquakes and shit.
How would being warmer make it shift its axis? That doesn't even logically make sense. Like I can't.
Dude, they had the nerve to say because water fucking melted more on one end of the poles. It tilted.
Really, the weight of the water.
I swear to God. I swear to God.
Oh my God.
I swear they said there was more water. Change the fucking
out of here.
Invisibly, dude.
How do we even know this? What are we comparing this to? Is there any? I don't even want to get into like a whole climate change thing, but my biggest problem with them is there's no control group, right?
And you can't hold them accountable. It's not like we vote for the climate czar.
What are we comparing our climate to? There's no control. There's no Earth without humans, unless you want to consider Mars.
Yeah, dude. The climate thing, it's crazy, and they're gonna use the government to enforce this about something invisible they can't measure. We have no statistics on. It's not like they were recording the climate in 2000 BC. They did. They're like, hey, it's fucking hot today. But they're like, I wonder how much ice is on the fucking Antarctica.
So
they thought it was until the 1500s.
All I was going to say is you can't, I mean, there's no control unless you want to consider like other planets without humans. But if you look at Mars is fighting climate change too. Not fighting it, but they have climate change. So if Mars has climate change and there's nobody on Mars, then the logical conclusion is climates naturally change.
Or aliens just left there.
Maybe the aliens have to climb it up. That's more.
Yeah, the
likely.
ice age, and then the heat and everything else. It's just like this. You, as I said before, they question our critical thinking every day. So I didn't mean to bring up something at the end with December 10th and get all serious.
So I got two things to say before we sign off here.
Yeah, man.
The first one is your calendar is bothering me.
Why?
It's not.
Because it's not April anymore.
Let's see May.
It's the Flash, bro. Barry Allen.
Flash. All right, that's fair.
Barry Allen, fastest man alive. Faster than without a green rock.
And the second thing I wanted to say is, I don't know how early Ryan is in this, but he keeps telling me he wants to do a quote pro guy podcast.
Yes, I do.
I just want to see this come to light.
Okay.
So I want anyone still watching, people still watching here, I want you to just comment below that you want to see this, because I kind of want to see this too, to be honest with you. I would love some entertainment from Ryan and his just
I'll try to stay away from
misogyny.
I'll stay away from the politics end of it. I'll just look at more some other things. Some things I've been consuming, some things I've noticed, practice. I was raised by women, so I think I have a fair degree of toxic masculinity to spew to these women. I would love to get canceled. Yeah, bring it on. Not really. Don't cancel me. Ban me on my IP address soon.
Again, I know it's early and things aren't settled, but Ryan, were you planning on doing like one episode of this, or would this be a series?
I don't know if I could do it weekly. It might be maybe monthly, bi-monthly, giggity, bisexually monthly.
Okay. I would just love to, I'm not gonna lie to you. I think I'm more excited to see the show than anybody.
So yeah, that's something I've been thinking about. So I'm gonna put the pen to the pad on that. But I'm gonna go. I appreciate everybody for watching. This is Dave and Ryan with December 1773. Like, comment, subscribe, engage, like the video, share the video. Thanks for sticking around. Thank you, Dave, for the late night, and I'll catch everybody on Monday at 7 when it drops, and see you next week.
See everyone later, and comment below for the Pro Guy podcast.
Great sibling.
Thank you. See everyone.
Peace. Bye, bud.